Thank you for clicking on the channel.
AOSD.
Assembly of Sound Doctrine Chandler.
Assembly of Sound Doctrine.
AOSD, RPK, Resurrection Prophet Kingdom. Like, subscribe, share. Let's go!
Come get a lesson. I'm teaching blessings. No need for guessing. I'm knowledge testing. It's truth time. The wise will shine, and the wicked will pine. I'm a righteous kind. Straight out of trouble, I'm keeping it subtle. Just me and my brothers and sisters. They love us. We fixing the puzzle, no stressing. Our cousins, the bucket, the struggle with aunties and cuz. Wanna read it, believe it. They should feedback. See it and need it like a kid back. Breaches and pieces like a Kit Kat, Akis, and I get seated. It's a Hollywood, not Dollywood. Album love, the kingdom within. AOSD is finessing. RPK, let your journey begin. It's a Hollywood, not Dollywood. Album love, the kingdom within. AOSD is finessing. RPK, let your journey begin. AOSD, 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 Assembly of Sound Doctrine. Shalom, 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 shalom. How y'all doing today? Let me get ready to get this started. All praise to the Most High through Christ. I hope everyone is having a fantastic Monday. Give me 1 second before I begin to make sure that I'm picking up good. And I don't hear nothing right now. All right, right here. Here we go. So now, let me go through some of this and try to, today we're going to talk about black people. Are we cursed today? In the law of Moses and the curses dealing with that, and how we all coincide with that that's going on. So give me 1 second so I can tag a few of my brothers real fast. What's up, Mario? All right, let's see here. Sorry, let me tag a few people. You still can't tag you. Tagging your husband instead, though. All right. How you doing, Shalom Queen? All right. That's everybody that I normally tag. All right, what we're gonna do today, because every once in a while, this little snake comes up, and the snake is the doctrine, not a specific person per se, but the snake is the doctrine. Let me get some frankincense and myrrh going on so we can smell a little bit heavenly aroma. All right, so the little snake of false doctrine keep raising its head, rendering its head up, and it pretty much has my brothers and sisters in bondage dealing with biblical doctrine. So once again, I'm here trying to explain more about these curses, because for some reason people want to use the curses and the law of Moses as a factor to determine our nationality, which no one in the scripture ever did that. So what we're going to go through just a little information, and we're going to go over, quote unquote, some of the curses, so we can actually see this being played out, because people want to blame, hold on, I don't know what just happened there. But people want to blame Christianity and Islam and all that stuff using the Bible, okay? They get all out the biblical timeline, trying to teach some false information, because it's really false and it's not accurate. I don't know what's going on with my Facebook. Okay. Okay, there we go. Facebook just jumped off. Close the app and see if I can get it right back on. But what we're going to go through, I'm going to try to go through some of the historical documentation that I have, and I know that you guys have it also. So, first thing first, I have the Bible Dictionary and the Compact Bible Dictionary, okay? This one is, the Compact is Zondervan, and this one right here is a Central Bible Study Companion, okay? So, these are two different biblical sources. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to read Ham, because I just want to give the backstory real fast so we can actually understand what's going on. All right, so for Ham, this is what the Bible Dictionary and the Central Bible Study Companion says, okay? It says, a son of Noah and father of Cush, Egypt, Put, and Canaan. See further each of the four. While they may have all been dark-skinned, they were not the forefathers of the Negroid races, but rather of people associated with Egypt. In the north of the continent of Africa, the Egyptians thought of Canaan as of their provinces even until very late times. Another name for Egypt and a city of the Zumzum situated on the King's Highway, not related to the sons of Noah. Okay, so now you have Ham being said, you know, the father pretty much of the dark races, but not the Negroid people. Okay, so let's see what it says about Japhet. Let's see what Japhet says. A son of Noah, according to the names of his sons, the ancestor of the Indo-European people from the south coast of Europe to Persia. So now, according to the Bible Dictionary, Ham's descendant would have been the non-Negroid dark people. Those like in Egypt, pretty much found, you know, on the continent of Africa. And then Japhet would have been the forefathers of the Indo-European people. So, if the Negroids, you know, we are Negroes, right? So, if the Negroids are the people that have Negroid features, according to this one, if they did not come from Ham, and we're not Indo-European, so we didn't come from Japhet, that means by default, we came from Shem. By default, we would have to come from Shem. Okay, so we know that pretty much on the planet, you have three families, right? Ham, Shem, Japhet. So according to the Bible, everyone on the planet today came from those three individuals. So it's not far-fetched for Negroes to think that we are from Semitic descent. Okay, so now let's go to the Compact Zondervan Bible Dictionary. Okay, so this is the second one. I'm going to look up Ham in this one. And it says, Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. His indecency when his father lay drunken brought a curse upon Canaan, city of of the Jordan, and descendants of the original Ham. In this passage, Ham is used as another name for Egypt as representing Ham's principal descendants. Okay, so now let's look at Japhet in this one. Japhet, sons of Noah, had 7 sons. Descendants occupied isles of Gentiles and blessed by Noah. So so in this one it says father of the Indo-Europeans, and this one it does not say that. Okay, but you see how I just go to outside documentation, right? I can go to outside documentation, and we can use process of elimination to determine that the Negroes, people want to say Negroid people, but the Negroes could or has a strong possibility of being descendants of Shem, Semitic people. Okay, so when we say that we are the original Jews, we have a lot of ground to stand up on because obviously the scholars know also. Obviously, biblical scholars know. So now, that being said, we can do the rundown on how there was dark-skinned people here in the Americas way before Christopher Columbus came, and etc. And there's a lot of theories on how this all came to be about. Like some of them could have been descendants from Egypt, and etc. The Aborigines. But according to the Bible, everybody would have came from those three families. So how you look at it, even though black the Native American people that was here, according to the Bible, they would have to either come from Ham, Shem, and Japhet, and most likely they would have came from Shem. So another one. Let me show you this one too, and you can cop this one, right? You can cop this book, Hebrews to Negroes, right? Wake Up Black America, and it has a lot of historical information in it. And if y'all don't know Mr. Ron Dalton, he does a lot of these series. We actually debated the brother, me and Mr. Bell. Speaking of Mr. Bell, a good book to pick up is Shipwrecked Faith. Okay, Shipwrecked Faith, Deuteronomy 28. That's right, by Mr. William Bell Jr. Pick that up. It has good information. So now, we went through all of the information. Okay, I'm not here to dispute if we are Jews, if we are Hebrew Israelites, I'm not here to dispute if Israel is black people. I'm not here to dispute that. The scholars did already did that. What I'm here to do now, since we have all this information laid out, we have the foundation laid out that I did not have to use the Bible in order to do it, in order to find out that Negroes came from Shem. Okay, so now, the question is black people cursed? Okay. When you start using the Bible, our historical records, as a means to speak curses into our lives, that's the problem. You see, a lot of people right now is running from Christianity. And I've made this post earlier on Facebook. A lot of people want to blame Christianity for slavery. Okay? Slavery existed once the transatlantic slave trade. That's like 1500, 1600. Okay, Christianity started about 2,000 years ago. Okay, throughout Africa. So the people who got on the boat, which was could have been African / Semitic people, could have been both people. We would never know. Okay, and using the curses is not going to be a way to monitor which family got on the boat. It's impossible to know you're Ham, you're Shem, you're Ham, you're Shem. The only reason why everybody's taught difference and everything is because the boat took the same people to different provinces. That's the only reason why we're pretty much different. So the way that we're labeling anyway, saying that you went to this place, so you're actually a Levite, and then you went to that place, so you're actually Judah, but you was on the boat together, and the only difference is you got dropped off in different locations. So the way that we do that doesn't make sense. But I'm here to actually go through the curses so we can leave the curses where they at, because Christianity, we're giving it away pretty much. Because I guess the Indo-European, they got a hold of it. The Gentiles, they got a hold of the doctrine, and as time went on and progressed, of course, the Gentiles do what they do, just like anybody would do what they do. They have ulterior motives. And then, that don't help. The Constantine brought all the paganism into it also. But that doesn't take from the fact that original Christianity belonged to us. It started with Semitic people. So now, 2,000 years later, you want to give our power away to somebody else, and you use slavery as a cause in order to do it. Saying, well, they use Christianity as a way to lock the slaves and make them submissive and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure it was all of the violence that they did, which made slaves submissive. Pretty sure it wasn't Christianity. But what we're going to go through the law of Moses, because people are using the law of Moses as a factor today in order to preach that or teach that we're still in the bondage and we're waiting for some type of freedom. So I just want to go through and do a thorough, it's not going to be too thorough, but a good breakdown, a good walkthrough dealing with the curses in the law of Moses, so we can actually see what Moses was giving ancient Israel, telling ancient Israel what to look forward to and why they was waiting on the new covenant. And I'm going to demonstrate today that this is going to pretty much take up all the feast days and all of the, we got to do the law of Moses. All of this is going to get hit today using the Bible. Because a lot of people, one thing they don't like doing, they don't like actually reading the Bible. They like it being read to them, and they like being spoon-fed, not knowing if the people that's feeding you this information has a motive or not. Not knowing if the people that's feeding you this information actually understand what they're talking about. You're just following them because they've been around a long time and because they sound smart. But today, hopefully, the Most High speak to you, the Spirit speak to you, and we actually walk through some of the curses in Deuteronomy so we can actually get the background, so we can understand what the curses of Deuteronomy was all about and how it doesn't have anything to do with us, and how the feast days and all of that still don't have anything to do with us and what we're supposed to be doing today. So, let's see here. There is that. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. AOSD-Chandler. Assembly of Sound Doctrine, where I try to teach nothing but sound doctrine. So, let's go to where everything starts dealing with the law of Moses and the curses. So, Deuteronomy 28. And we're going to start at verse 50. Before we go to Deuteronomy 28, let's get a backstory. Let's get a backstory before we start with the curses. So we're just going to go to Deuteronomy 4 and let's see here, 1. Deuteronomy 4 and 1. Let's start here. Now, this is the story. This is the background that a lot of people love to skip over when talking and teaching Deuteronomy, okay? The Exodus just happened, okay? They was in literal Egypt, okay? They left literal Egypt. They was in Egypt for, 215 years or so? And they left literal Egypt to go into the wilderness, awaiting the entrance into the promised land. The iniquity of the Amorites had to be fulfilled, which it is fulfillment. It's just Israel, they pretty much transgressed and they rebelled against the Most High while in the wilderness, so he let the next generation go in. But everybody, Israel just left Egypt, literal Egypt, okay? They're in the wilderness. So now, this is the conversation that Moses was having. So please listen. Don't add your commentary. Don't add what your teachers have told you. Don't add your own thought. Don't do none of that. Listen to what Moses is actually saying in order for you to understand what the Bible is teaching. And please, if y'all can, share this. Share the video if you can. I'm going to be here all night, folks. But Let's start off in Deuteronomy 4. Now therefore hearken, O Israel. So he's addressing all of Israel who just came out of Egypt. Unto the statutes and into the judgments, which I teach you. So now, remember in the new covenant, it said, no man is going to teach his neighbor. Here we see that in this covenant, Moses was the one doing the teaching. Okay? Later when Moses left, then the Levites did the teaching, and etc. So, which I teach you for to do them. Now he's going to tell them, they're in the wilderness, right? He's telling them, I'm fin to teach you something. But this is where everybody who tried to use the curses for today in America and bring in the continent of Africa and all of that stuff. This is exactly the information that they leave out. Deuteronomy 4 and 1. Now therefore hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments which I teach you, for to do them, that ye may live and go in and possess the land which the Lord God of your fathers giveth you. Okay, this is what everybody want to skip over when talking about curses, when talking about blessings, dealing with the law of Moses. It was addressed directly to Israel for them to live and possess the land. Okay. He's not talking about the land of America. Okay. He's not talking about the continent of Africa, unless you say the land of Canaan is found on the outskirts or within. It's different if that's the perspective you're taking. The land of Canaan was on the edge or the horn of Africa, or however you want to do it, on the tip of it. If that's your perspective of it, I'm not going to argue with you. But the land of Canaan had boundaries, okay? It would not be the whole continent of Africa. Definitely not the slave coast. But they was going to possess the land of Canaan, okay? The statutes and the judgments that Moses was teaching them in the wilderness was for them to do in the land of Canaan. You got to understand this, everybody. Once again, you got to understand it. Forget all the other doctrines that people teach you. Forget what you want to teach yourself. Forget all of the false narratives that the Bible doesn't teach. They was learning these laws in order to do in the land of Canaan. Verse 2, ye shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall you diminish out from it, that you may keep the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you. Now I'm going to read I'm going to skip down. Verse 5. Behold, I taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Okay? They were, once again, I got to beat this in your head for you to understand. They were going to possess the land of Canaan. They were in the wilderness getting ready to go fight the Amorites, the Perizzites, and all of those ites, the Hittites, and all of them, and kick them out of the land of Canaan, so Israel could go in and possess it. Once you read the book of Joshua, you can see this pretty much occurred. It didn't complete in Joshua, but you can see a majority of it being completed in Joshua. They were going into the land of Canaan, not the land of America, okay? Not the continent of North America or South America, Antarctica. No, they was going into the land of Canaan. So all of this was centered around the land of Canaan. And I'm going to read one more, and then I get to I'm going to skip to the curses. So Deuteronomy 4, I'm going to read 13 and 14. And he declared unto you his covenant, which he commanded you to perform, even 10 commandments. So it lets you know that the covenant itself was the 10 commandments. Okay, everybody? The covenant that Moses received was the 10 commandments. Let me read it again. And he declared unto you his covenant, which he commanded you to perform, even indeed 10 commandments. He commanded you to perform the covenant, which was the 10 commandments. So that's the covenant. So when we talk about the covenant, when you hear RPK or AOSD bring to you the covenant of Moses, we're talking about the 10 commandments as the Bible says, not whatever you think. We're talking about the 10 commandments, okay? And it says, and he wrote them upon 2 tables of stones, and the Lord commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and judgments, that ye might do them in the land whither you go to possess it. So if you keep reading Deuteronomy, all of this was built off of, was getting them prepared to be at peace in the land of Canaan. Okay? Not anywhere else except the land of Canaan. So now, let's skip to the curses now. So we got the backstory. Trust me, y'all, it's not going to stop. It's never going to hit the continent of Africa or North America. It never hits that. That's what Americans do. This is when Black Americans got a hold of this, and we remixed it. I hate, but we learned it from the Jewish man. The Indo-European Japhet people who actually converted over into Judaism, and we pretty much learned from them. If you look at the forefathers of our movement with the Hebrew Israelite movement. But now, let's go to the curses now. Deuteronomy 28:15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses should come upon thee and overtake thee. So now we done already read that he was teaching them to do this. They were supposed to do this in the land they was going to possess, right? So now, verse 16. One sec. Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. So now, what city and field was he cursing them for? Was it the cities and field in America, or the cities and field in the land of Canaan, which all of this was centered around in the first place? Hopefully we all chose the land of Canaan. Hopefully we chose that land. But I just want to just show you. Let's see if we can see a little bit of that. See, let's go to where we at. You at Ezekiel. There you go. Ezekiel 6. 2, Son of man, set thy face toward the mountains of Israel and prophesy against them. Ezekiel 6 and 6. I'm going to start at 5. And I will of the children of Israel before their idols, and I will scatter your bones about your altars. In all your dwelling places, the cities shall be laid waste, and the high places shall be desolate, that your altars may be laid waste and made desolate, and your idols may be broken and cease, may be cut down, and your works may be abolished. So now, you see what it says? In all your dwelling places in the cities. He said, cursed be you're in the city and in the field. So now, where are they at? Ezekiel 6 and 2. Son of man, set thy face toward the mountains of Israel and prophesy against them. They were in the land of Canaan. So you see in Ezekiel, the curses is coming upon Israel for them breaking the commandments, them killing, and etc. So you can actually see the curses that was set for the land of Canaan being fulfilled or being prophesied to occur while they were in the land of Canaan. Okay? This is what the Bible is for. The Bible is for teaching in context. Okay? So now, that's one, dealing with Israel being in the land of Canaan, receiving the curse. We don't take it to America or whatever else you want to take it to. Okay? So now, Deuteronomy 28. And I'm not going to do this for each one of them. I'm just showing a few things. Cursed thou shalt be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. Verse 18. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body. That's the children. The fruit of thy land. Now, what was their land? What was their land? Was it the land of America? Was it the continent, the slave coast? Or was it the land of Canaan? Was it the land of Canaan? Yes. Cursed shall thou be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thine can and the flocks of thy sheep. All of these animals would have belonged to them while they was in the land of Canaan. And we should be able to see that in, let's see, go to Jeremiah 5:17. Well, first, let's see here. Let's see if we can start at 5:1. Run ye to and fro through the streets of Jerusalem. Where's Jerusalem at? Is Jerusalem not in the land of Canaan? Of course. The land of Canaan, once again, and see now and know and seek the broad places thereof, if ye find a man, if there be any that execute judgment, that seeketh the truth, and I will pardon it. So now, streets of Jerusalem, land of Canaan. So now we're going to go down to verse number 17. Well, let's start at verse 14. Wherefore thus said the Lord God of hosts, because ye speak this word, behold, I will make words in my mouth fire, and this people wood, and should devour them. I will bring a nation upon you from afar. This is, O house of Israel. Who came and knocked out house of Israel? The Assyrians. Okay? Not the Americans. The Assyrians got the house of Israel. Said the Lord, it is a mighty nation. It is an ancient nation. A nation whose language thou knowest not, neither understandest what they say. So the Assyrians knocked out, at first he started off with Jerusalem. And then it went farther on into the house of Israel, which would have been the northern kingdom. Hopefully I'm getting that correct. Let's see here. 5:11. For the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Exactly. House of Judah would have been in Jerusalem. House of Israel, they would have been in Samaria. So now, which is both in the land of Canaan. So, wherefore thus said the Lord of hosts, what was I at? I will bring a nation upon you from afar, O house of Israel, said the Lord. It is a mighty nation. It is an ancient nation. A nation whose language thou knowest not, neither understands what they say. This is found inside the curses also. I will bring a nation upon you swift as eagles. And for some reason, people try to make that be about America. No. Before the time that Assyria came in and attacked the house of Israel and stuff, decades upon decades has went by. They went through the time of Joshua. They went through the time of the judges and etc. So a lot of time has passed before Assyria even came and knocked the house of Israel out, and before Nebuchadnezzar came and knocked the southern kingdom out. So A lot of time has passed between these events. But for some reason, people forget about this, forget all the time it didn't pass, forget when it actually was fulfilled in the Bible, and they try to tell you that this is about America and slavery. When the Bible actually tells you how it was fulfilled. I'm just here to show you. So now, 15 or 16, their quiver is an open scepter. They are all mighty men. Verse 17. And they shall eat up thine harvest and thy bread, which thy sons and thy daughters should eat. They should eat up thy flocks and thy herds. They should eat up thy vines and thy fig trees. They shall impoverish thy fenced cities wherein thou trusted with the sword. So now, let's go back to what the curse said was going to happen. Deuteronomy 28. And where were we at? 18. Well, we could have did 17. Thou basket and thy store. Cursed should be the fruit of thy body, the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. So you see that they were saying that the Assyrians was going to come in and take all of their flocks and etc. All of their property. The Assyrians was going to take in. While they was in the land of Canaan. Cursed shall thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shall be when thou goest out. Let's see here. 20. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, and all thy settlest thine hand unto do, until thou be destroyed, until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. So he said, the curse, vexation, and rebuke, and all the things that thou settest thy hand upon to do, until thou be destroyed, until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. Which, let's see here, Malachi 2 and 2. If ye, and 2 and 1, and now, O ye priests, this commandment is for you. If ye will not hear, and if you will not lay it to your heart to give glory unto my name, said the Lord of hosts, I will even send a curse upon you, and I will curse your blessings. Yea, I have cursed them already, because you do not lay it in your heart. I will corrupt your seed and dung upon your faces, and etc. Okay, so that's one. And we can go to, let's see it. Isaiah 51. 20. Well, 19 and 20. Two things are come upon thee. Who shall be sorry for thee? Desolation and destruction, and the famine, and the sword, by whom shall I comfort thee? Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets, as a wild bull in a net. They are full of the fury of the Lord, the rebuke of thy God. So you see there's desolation and destruction upon thee. There's also famine and the sword. So Deuteronomy 28. There was 20 and 21 actually. So you see the cursing, the vexation, the rebuke, everything that they said that they hand upon would be destroyed, and until they perish quickly. So that's the sword coming against them. That's the famine coming against them. That's the curses coming against them. 21, the Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee, until he have consumed thee off the land whither thou goest to possess it. Let me read it again. Deuteronomy 28:21. The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee until he have consumed thee from off the land whither thou goest to possess it. What land was they going to possess? The land of Canaan. What was the curses going to do? Consume them from the land. The curses was going to take them from the land of Canaan. It wasn't going to take them from the land of Canaan, put them in another land, and then take them from that land, and then put them in another place and take them from that place. That's not how the curses was lined up. That's not how the biblical curses was said to occur. The point of the curses was to take them off the land of Canaan. So you can't make something that happened on the continent of Africa during the slave coast be about the curses in Deuteronomy, when the curses telling you it was centered around the land, the promised land, the land of Canaan. All the curses was centered around the land of Canaan, not the slave coast, not America. Okay, but let's go a little bit further. Let's see. The Lord shall smite thee with a consumption, and with the fever, and with inflammation, and with extreme burning, and with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. That pretty much deals with famine. All of those are what's the word that I'm looking for? I'm trying to find the word. Symptoms. Yeah, sorry. There you go. All of those are symptoms of famine. Okay. The fever, the inflammations, the burning, and then the sword is pretty much dealing with war and the blasting and the mildew. But this is dealing with pretty much famine and war. And thy heaven that is over thee, thy head should be brass, and the earth which is under thee shall be iron. Pretty much the same thing that was going on in the book of Genesis when Canaan's descendants was the one who created the brass and the iron. So this is dealing with war, weaponry. The Lord shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust. From heaven shall it come. Hold on, let me read it again. The Lord shall make the rain of thy land, which was the land of Canaan, powder, means no rain, and dust. From heaven shall it come down upon thee until thou be. So from heaven shall it come down upon thee until thou be destroyed. It's pretty much no rain. Let's see here. 25. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies, that thou shalt go one way against them, flee 7 ways before them, and thou shalt be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. Pretty much that's the scattering. That's dealing with captivity. Thou shalt be removed. Where are they being removed from? Off the land of Canaan. Into all the kingdoms of the earth. And we can see that in, let's see here. This is Isaiah got one. Isaiah 30. And 1,000 shall flee at the rebuke of one, and at the rebuke of 5 shall ye flee, till ye be left as a beacon upon the top of a mountain and an ensign upon the hill. Let's see what Isaiah 30 is talking about. Isaiah 30. Woe to the rebellious children, said the Lord. Thou shalt take counsel, but not of me. That should, let's see here. Thou shalt walk down into Egypt. That's literal Egypt. So I don't know if we're gonna make this America too, but let's see here. That's about them. That's about them getting ready to go into Egypt. Okay, so that wasn't one. Let's go to sorry about that. Let's go to Luke 21 and 24. That's 21. 21, he telling them to flee into the mountains. And then 21, 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations, just like the curse said. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. But where is this happening at? Luke 21, 20, and 21. And when you used to see Jerusalem, land of Canaan, compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let those which are in Judea, land of Canaan, flee to the mountains. And when the Roman army came in, they was going to take them captive into all the nations. Once again, centered around the land of Canaan. That's Deuteronomy 28 again. Which one was that? 28, 25. And look, 26. And thy carcasses shall be meat unto all the fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. What's going to happen? Their carcasses was going to be left out. Nobody was going to bury them during this war, and etc. And you see that in one example in let me show. What's that? Matthew 24. This is just one example. Matthew 24 and what was that? Hold on. No, this is for Matthew 24 and housetop, enter into the field. This is when Jerusalem. And if men load false Christ, I told you, for the lightning come. Here we go, 28. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. So now what did he say? He was going to leave their bodies was going to be left for food for the birds. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. So where's this happening at? Matthew 24, 16. Then let them which be in Judea flee to the mountains. Once again, the land of Canaan. Sorry that took so long to find. Sorry, brother. It's taking me a minute to maneuver through all of this stuff. But Jeremiah 16. All right, let's see what this is at. Jeremiah 16. Let's go to Jeremiah 15. Jeremiah 15, though Moses and Samuel still before me. I'm trying to get a location. That's what I'm looking for. 15:4, and I will call to all the kingdoms of the earth. Pretty much what he said. In fact, let's start at 1. Then said the Lord unto me, though Moses and Samuel stood before me, yet my mind could not be toward this people. Cast them out of my sight and let them go forth. And it shall come to pass, if they say unto thee, whither shall we go forth? Then thou shalt tell them, that thus said the Lord, such as for death to death, and such as for the sword to the sword, and such as for the famine to the famine, and such as for the captivity to the captivity. And I would appoint over them 4 kinds, said the Lord, the sword to slay, the dogs to tear, the fowls of the heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy. You find the same thing in the book of Revelation. This is pretty much sort of like the four horsemen. And I will cause them to be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth because of Manasseh, the son of Hezekiah, king of Judah, for that which he did in Jerusalem. For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Once again, now we have the location. Or who shall bemoan thee, or who shall go aside and ask how thou doest? And this is pretty much Jeremiah was pretty much talking about King Nebuchadnezzar coming in, the Babylonians coming in to destroy the southern kingdom. So you see it right there. You got sword, you got famine, you got captivity, and then you got the beast of the earth and the fowls of the heaven devouring the flesh. So then, once you continue in Jeremiah 16 now, and the word of the Lord came also to me, saying, Thou shalt not take thee a wife, neither shalt thou have sons or daughters in this place. For thus said the Lord concerning the sons and concerning the daughters that are born in this place, and concerning their mothers that bear them, and concerning their fathers that beget them in this land. It's got to be the land of Canaan. Thou shalt die of grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried, but they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth, and they shall be consumed by the sword and by the famine, and their carcasses shall be meat for the fowls of heaven and the beasts of earth. 6. But both the great and small shall die in this land. They shall not be buried, neither shall man lament for them, nor cut themselves, nor make themselves bald for them. That's pretty much the scabs and stuff. And that's what they were saying. They was going to go into the land of the north. But I was trying to get a definitely, because people want to see the word Jerusalem. But we saw Jerusalem. But people like actually saying that word. To show you that, once again, this was centered around the land of Canaan. Let's see if we can... Well, that's Jerusalem. I mean, that we didn't read, but just in case, most people are like, I want to see Jerusalem again and again and again and again for you to prove it. So let's see what else. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 27. Because this is one that people like to skip to, talking about Egypt means America, right? Egypt means, to them, they say Egypt means bondage. And once again, this is just for people to wake up out of false doctrine, because as long as you come in with false doctrine, it can always be debunked. So when somebody comes with you with some truth, you're always going to argue about it, and it's not going to be, it's going to be like talking to a fool. It's never going to be fruitful, because you believe a false narrative, not because common sense, you have common sense. It's just because people have taught you out the scriptures. They told you that the Bible means one thing, and even though you're reading the words to know it means something else, you would rather trust them over your own judgment, which is wrong. That's not really how it's supposed to be done. It's good to have elders, but if your elders are not on point, then you're just learning foolish material. So now, let's go to Deuteronomy 28:27. The Lord will smite thee with the botch of Egypt. So now, does this Egypt right here, does that mean bondage? Does that mean America? Does that mean the slave coast right there? Or is that talking about the Egypt that they just came out of? The Lord will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the hemorrhoids, and with the scab, and with the itch, whereas thou cannot be healed. So is this talking about Egypt, the place, or is this talking about some type of bondage, the botch of bondage, and with hemorrhoids, and with scabs, and with itch? Come on, y'all. And the Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. And let's see here. Verse 30. Verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and thou shalt not gather the grapes thereof. I got to show you something with this real fast, okay? Once again, this was the curse of Moses. Moses is given the curses, right? Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. And people be like, well, you see, that happened in slavery. That happened in America. Well, let's see here. Let's see if we can find something similar. I'm not sure. Let's see. Jeremiah 8. Let's see here. Jeremiah 8 and 1. And at this time, said the Lord, thou shalt bring out the bones of the king of Judah, and the bones of his princes, and the bones of the priests, and the bones of the prophets, and the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem out of their graves, and they shall spread them before the sun and the moon and the host of heaven, whom they have loved. So this is pretty much what's going on in Jerusalem, right? And the death shall be chosen rather, and death shall be chosen rather than life. Verse 4, moreover, thou shalt say unto them, thus said the Lord, shall they fail and not arise? Shall they fall and not arise? Shall he turn away and not return? Verse 5, why then is this people of Jerusalem slidden back by a perpetual backsliding? They hold fast deceit, they refuse to return. So Jerusalem, people of Jerusalem, right? Land of Canaan. They want to play with you and say, well, Jerusalem is a people. So it's wherever they are, wherever the people was at, that's Jerusalem. No. Jerusalem was a city. And the people of that city was going through these curses for doing the bad thing. So in order for them to teach you that the law of Moses, the curses in the law of Moses can be in America, they take the understanding that Jerusalem is a city centered in the land of Canaan. So if they can get you to believe that the people is actually Jerusalem, that means the curses can happen anywhere the people are. That's the trickery that they do. They want you to believe that, hey, I know Jerusalem is a city, but this is really talking about Jerusalem being a people. No, this is talking about Jerusalem inside the land of Canaan. And they was going to receive these curses. So this is one of the curses. Go to verse 9. The wise men are ashamed, they are dismayed and taken. Lo, they have rejected the word of the Lord, and what wisdom is in them. Therefore I will give their wives unto others, and their fields to them that shall inherit them, inherit the wives. For everyone from the least even unto the greatest is given to covetousness. Yes, sorry. From the prophet even unto the priest, everyone dealeth falsely. For they have healed the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly, saying, peace, peace, when there is no peace. Where they are ashamed they had committed abomination. But anyway, so you see, he have it right here that Nebuchadnezzar was going to, the Babylonians, the Chaldees, or the Chaldeans was supposed to come in, and they was going to take the wives of those that was dwelling inside of Jerusalem. So you don't have to go to what happened in America to see this being displayed out when you literally seeing it being displayed out in the Bible. It's telling you exactly what it was talking about. Just because something similar happened in today's time, because that's pretty much all war. All war, all wicked people do the same thing. I hate to tell y'all, but women and men has always did wrong. So when you have wicked people being powerful, they do stuff like rape the men, rape the women, rape the children. And I know it's bad. I know it's a monstrosity, but that happens throughout all war or all people that's in power that's wicked. So just because it's happening in America or it happened during the transatlantic slave trade or when they got to America don't mean that it's something that happened because black people was cursed. It just happened because that's what wicked people do when they get power. Okay, let's see here. And it's the same thing. Thy son should be given into. All right, let's go to verse 36 now. I want to go to 36, 37, and I'm gonna read probably much like 10 more verses, then I'll be done. All right, so I'm just gonna skip around and see what I want to do. Here, because people want to talk about the byword, right? Yeah, let's go to 36 real fast. Deuteronomy 28:36. Let's go there real fast. "32, thy sons and thy daughters should be given into another people." That's pretty much what happened in the book of Daniel. That's why Daniel was actually speaking to Nebuchadnezzar and all of that. He was literally given into the hands of King Nebuchadnezzar. So you can literally see that being happened in the Bible. So I don't want to hit that one. 36, "The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, into a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone." And for some reason, people want this to be Islam and Christianity. First of all, look what it says it had to happen. "The Lord shall bring thee and thy king." Now, what king did they have in Africa that came over to America? First of all, in order for this to happen, they had to have a king over them, and that king had to be conquered by Islam and introduce those people to the cobblestone. And then somehow they're supposed to get another king and get brought over to the Americas and get introduced to Christianity. Now, I don't know how that was going to happen since the last king of Judah, the last king period, was Christ. And if you don't follow Christ, the last king was found in Second Chronicles? Who was the last king? Dang, I was looking at this the other day. Hold on. I don't think it was Hezekiah. Hold on, give me 1 sec. That's Second Chronicles 3, ain't it? So I'm trying to go into my regular Bible I have. Or is it First Chronicles 3? Let's see here. First Chronicles. No, it don't show it. What do we get to? Shemaiah, Hodiah, Ananiah. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm sure it's not Hezekiah. And I should know this actually, but I don't. And I was just looking at this the other day. That would be Zedekiah. Hold on, let's see here. Let me make sure. Yeah, no, Zedekiah was the last king of Israel. Let's see. Let me make sure I got Zedekiah right. Yep, I think it's Zedekiah from my quick search real fast. So, the last biblical king besides Christ would have been Zedekiah. But if we're going to make this be about Islam, or we're going to make this be about Christianity, them serving got wood and stone, all of this has to happen, okay? So, wherever the king Zedekiah was at, there the people, look, it says it right here. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. So the king had to go to that nation. And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. So wherever that king got taken to, that's where the Israelites was going to serve wood and stone. So obviously that king had to be taken to wherever Muhammad was to bring forth and learn about the cobblestone. And then that king had to live and survive 1400 years, or sorry, I think Muhammad was like around 600. I might be wrong. I think it's 600 AD. And then we got the slave trade, which was pretty much 1500. So that'll be what, 900. So that king had to survive 900 years. So that same king had to be taken over to wherever Muhammad was, and then, or the Arabs, Arabia, and then he had to come up, be taken to the Americas. And while that king lived 900 years in America, then those Israelites had to follow that king and learn of Christianity. So the Israelites, I don't even know how that has to happen. But regardless, do you see how messed up it is once you don't teach the scripture in context, or if you break the scripture up? The scripture tells you exactly how it was supposed to happen. The king had to go too. And when the king and the people were in the same location, at that location, they was going to learn to worship wood and stone. They had Bible stone or Christianity. It has nothing to do with either one of those. I'm here to tell you, you have learned, what you learned is false. It's not talking about the cobblestone. It's not talking about the cross. It's not. So now, let's see, maybe we can find out what it was talking about. Because Zedekiah was taken over by King Nebuchadnezzar. So let's see if we can find something similar. Let's go to Jeremiah 16. We were just there. And 13. Therefore will I cast you out of this land, the land of Canaan, into a land that ye know not, neither ye nor your fathers, which was the land of the Chaldees, and there ye shall serve other gods day and night, where I will not show you favor. So this is about King Nebuchadnezzar coming in and taking them over into the land of the Chaldees, and there they were going to serve other gods day and night. Okay? But I know a lot of people want to see, let's see if we can find the wood and I want to find the wood and stone though. I gotta find that wood and stone real fast. Hold on, y'all. Let me see if I can find the wood and stone, because that's what the people want to see. Let me see if I can find that. Let me see if I can do this quick Google search. Sorry. Let's see here. That's Deuteronomy 28 and 36. Deuteronomy 28. Let's see here. Deserted the king of Babylon. No, we're not going to do that. I want to see something about some wood and stone. Well, we're finna go to there real fast. Hold on. It said you're gonna serve them day and night. There might not be one for wood and stones. I like seeing these words, wood and stone, because it says serve other gods. Sorry, y'all, I can't find one for wood and stones from a quick search, and I'm not really gonna spend a lot of time looking for it, actually, because I mean, it says you're gonna serve other gods day and night. But I want to go to this Jeremiah 39, 5-7 real fast. I want to go there. 39, 5-7. Because we're talking about Zedekiah, the last king, right? Let's start at 4. And it came to pass that when Zedekiah, the king of Judah, saw them and all the men of war, then they fled and went forth out of the city by night, by the way of the king's garden, and by the gates betwixt the two walls, and he went out of the way of the plain. But the Chaldeans' army pursued after them, and overtook Zedekiah in the plains of Jericho. And when they had taken him, they brought him unto Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, to Riblah. What's that? Riblah. I can't see it from here. I don't know. That's an I-L. In the land of Hamath, where he gave judgment unto him. And then the king of Babylon slew the sons of Zedekiah in Riblah before his eyes. And the king of Babylon slew all the nobles of Judah. Moreover, he put out Zedekiah's eyes and bound him with chains to carry him to Babylon. Dang it. And I knew that was going to happen. But that's talking about when he went into Babylon, and then the rest of those of the southern kingdom went to. So that was the fulfillment of that. That they was going to go into another land that they knew not, which was the land of the Chaldees, and worship wood and stones, which was the gods that the Chaldees was worshiping. And it said he worshiped them day and night. And thou shalt, let's go to verse 37 now. Because that wasn't talking about Christianity or the cobblestone. That was talking about what happened when the Babylonians came in and destroyed them. So now, and thou shalt, 37, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee. And then they tell you, see, first they called you what? Afro. Then they call you African. I'm sorry, first they call you African. Then they call you Afro-American. Then they call you African-American. Then they call you a nigger. And I don't know what they said now. But all of them were supposed to be bywords. And they use those names that people call us to say that, see, this is Deuteronomy 28:37 being played out here in America. Well, we can go to scriptures and see where that was being played out in. All right, 1 Kings, let's start at 9 and 6. But if ye shall at all turn from following me, ye or your children, and will not keep my commandments and my statutes which I have set before you, but go and serve other gods and worship them, cut off Israel out of the land which I have given them. So what was that? The land of Canaan. The land I have given them, the land of Canaan, and this house which I have hallowed for my name, I will cast out of my sight. And Israel shall be a proverb and a byword among all people. In this house which is high, everyone that passes by it shall be astonished and shall hiss, and they shall say, why has the Lord done this unto this land and unto his house, or this house? So you see that this was against them in the land of Canaan as well as his temple. Okay? This was against them in the land of Canaan and his temple. Once they went against the Most High, he was going to allow, this is pretty much what Babylon did, came in and destroyed the people off the land and the temple. First Assyria came in and destroyed those in Samaria, took them over to the land of the Medes, and they replaced the people in Samaria with those foreigners in the land of Medes. So this is why when Christ said, go not way into the way of the Samaritans, but go into the lost sheep of the house of Israel, because at that time in the New Testament, Samaria was not did not have the northern kingdom in it. It had those people that came from Babylon and Medes and all there that was placed in the land by the kingdom of Syria, and they was converted over into the law in order to not get destroyed off the land of Canaan. Because the Most High said that in order for them to stay into the land of Canaan, they all had to follow the law, because that was the condition of staying in the land. And the condition of staying in that land was they had to do the law. It didn't matter if it was the natural Israel or people that came in. Anybody who stayed in the land of Canaan had to do the law, or they was going to be destroyed. So this is what happened in the New Testament when Christ was talking to the woman from Samaria, or he told the disciples not to go into the land of Samaria because they was not national Israel. They would have been converts. But back to what we're talking about. 1 Kings 9, 7, and 8. You see right here, the curse was for them to be taken off the land, and when they got taken off the land, that's when there was going to be an astonishment and a byword and a proverb when they got taken from the land. So when the Assyrians took those northern kingdom from the land, then they became a byword and a proverb. When Nebuchadnezzar came in and took the southern kingdom off the land, that's when they became a byword and a proverb. Okay, it's not about America and them calling you a nigger, and them calling you an African American, and them calling you Afro American, and them calling you any other name. That's not what that's talking about. Okay, it's not talking about that. The Bible's plain and clear when this was going to happen and around what event they was talking about. So that's not about you and them making up different names to call you. No, that's about what happened to them in the past. And let's see here. And I'm about done. Where else can we go? Because we got the nation that was burning, they was fast and all this. All right, let's go to Deuteronomy 28. Okay, Deuteronomy 28, 53. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons and thy daughters, which the Lord thy God hath given thee in the siege, and in the straitness wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee. So once again, it was a curse that they were going to, during the siege, right? In the siege. So you got to have a war. This was going to happen in the war. Okay? Show me this in America, please. But this was going to happen in the war. And in that war, they was going to eat the fruit of thine own body. Okay? Wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee. It didn't mean that, as long as it happened one time, that means that curse actually was fulfilled. Okay? So Josephus actually recorded that in the book of Josephus in secular history about the woman eating her child when the Romans sieged Jerusalem. So it happened during the siege of Jerusalem, but we can keep that biblical too. What was it 2 Kings 6:29? 2 Kings 6:29. And start at 28. And the king said unto her, What aileth thee? And she answered, This woman said unto me, Give thy son, that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So we boiled my son and did eat him. And I said unto her, On the next day, Give thy son, that we may eat him. And she had hid her son. And when it came to pass, when the king heard the words of the woman, that he rent his clothes, and he passed by upon the wall, and the people looked, and behold, he had sackcloth within upon his flesh. So you literally see that happening in the book of 2 Kings. But what was going on in the book of 2 Kings? Second Kings 6:24. And it came to pass after this that Benadad, king of Syria, gathered all his hosts and went up and besieged Samaria in the land of Canaan. And there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it. Remember, in the siege, you would eat the flesh of your daughters and sons, until an ass head was sold for 40 pieces of silver, and on the fourth part of the calf of the dove's dung for 5 pieces of silver. So the famine was so bad that they was eating their donkeys, which I'm pretty sure was against the law of Moses. I'm pretty sure that went against the dietary stuff. So they didn't care about the dietary stuff. They ate the whole ass. They ate the whole donkey. But the ass's head and a dove's dung, the droppings from a dove. And as the king of Assyria was passing by upon the wall, there cried a woman unto him, saying, Help my lord, O king. So you see that it literally has it in 2 Kings, where this was actually showed to happen, that they was eating their children, just like the curses said. So once again, you can actually see in the curses being displayed in the Bible exactly how Moses said it was going to happen. It wasn't changing meanings. It wasn't saying that this was going to happen, but it really means that the police was shooting black people, and that was going to happen, but it really means that the IRS was going to come in and take your land and your belongings. No, that's not what the Bible was doing. This is what people do in order to try to modernize the Bible, or in order to trick you to teach some type of doctrine that's outside the Bible. The Bible actually explains in detail how the curses was going to happen and exactly how the curses looked inside of the land of Canaan. And then you have people coming 2,000 years later saying, no, it's really about us in America and what happened in Africa. No, it's not. It's about what happened in the land of Canaan. And that's exactly what it's about. What happened in the land of Canaan. So now, let's see here. Let's see, 64, and they shall scatter you among the people. We already read that happened in Luke 24. That's pretty much happened with King Nebuchadnezzar and etc. Let's see here. The Lord. Oh yeah, let's go to verse 20. Let's go to 68 now. And then I want to show you something that I said that I was going to retouch on, and then we can call it. Deuteronomy 28:68 now. So now, we have all of this has been in the land of Canaan. Everything has been dealing with the land of Canaan, okay? Dealing with the land of Canaan. So now, let's get to Deuteronomy 28:68. The background, they just left Egypt. That's the background, okay? Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. Okay? So the word again, I don't know what again means to you. But again means again. Another occurrence. To happen over. That's what again means. So now, if I'm in the congregation standing around, and Moses has made all of these speeches, and I just came out of Egypt, and the first thing I hear is, the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again, would I or would I not think of the Egypt I just left? Once again, he said, I'm going to bring thee into Egypt again. It happened already. Once again, it happened already. In order for it to happen again, it had to already happen. So now, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. So, first of all, was they at the slave trade? No. Was they in America? No. So they wasn't going to the slave trade again. They wasn't going to America again. They was going to Egypt again. Okay, so now let's read it. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Okay. Notice, nobody raised their hand and said, Moses, what is a ship? What is this ship thing that you're talking about? Why? Because they had already came from Egypt, which was one of the most prosperous civilizations at the time. There was a lot of merchandise, a lot of merchant trade by boat, by water, by galleys, by gallows. So they knew what a ship was already. Moses did not have to explain it what a ship was. So they already knew. So now Moses is saying, remember, the way they went into Egypt the first time was because of the famine, right? It was a famine going on, and Jacob or Israel went over into Egypt with his 12 sons and the host that they had in order to get rid of, in order to bypass the famine. So they went over into Egypt. So the first time they went over into Egypt as a people, they went over there walking. Okay, so now it said that they was going to go into Egypt again, but now with ships. The first time was walking, this time with ships. Okay, so now let's keep reading. By the way whereof I spake unto thee. So now he said, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. So now he's telling them that by that way he has already spoken to them. Okay? Did he already speak to them about the slave coast? Did he already speak to them about America or whatever thing that you make up? No. But listen what he says. Thou shalt see it no more again. You see the word again? That's the second time he said again. Bring you into Egypt again, meaning it had to already occur. You shall see it no more again, which means that he told them they would not see Egypt again. So did he tell them that they was not? This is what people say. It means bondage. And we came over into America in slavery. So it's talking about slavery right there. It's not literally talking about Egypt. It's talking about slavery. Well, he has made it into verse 16. A lot of the verses, he has been talking about them going into captivity. A lot of the verses was, they're going to take your sons. They're going to take your daughters. You're going to eat your children. You're going to be led away captive into all nations. You're going to flee 7 different ways. So this whole time, he has been telling them about captivity. He has been telling them about bondage this whole entire time. So now he gets to the last of it, and he said, I'm going to take you into bondage, but I told you weren't going to see it again. Even though he done told them about bondage that they was going to see over and over and over and over and over again. I guess Moses just forgot what he was talking about. He just had a mind slip. Never mind. I told y'all about all this bondage, but you're never going to see it again. Even though he just told you you're going to see it several different times, several different ways. But let's just keep reading. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold into your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. So there, where is there? There is Egypt, right? There is Egypt, right? And there you shall be sold. See, listen to what it says. Bring you into Egypt again, and there you shall be sold. So now, let's say, y'all say that means bondage. So let's read it. And there, and bondage, you shall be sold into your enemies. And in bondage, you shall be sold into your enemies. Well, that's part of bondage, isn't it? So inside of that bondage, I guess this is what y'all getting, you will be sold into your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you or redeem you. Now, forget the fact that the King James translators butchered this verse. Forget the fact that they butchered the translation. Well, they really didn't, because they used that Old English with Old English definitions. So Old English definitions is not the same thing as modern English definitions. So in the context that they did it in, they did it correct. But for people in the modern day times, they did it totally incorrect. And actually, the Hebrew actually doesn't even read like that at all. And I actually had a Hebrew teacher sit down, and I got it on my YouTube channel. He sat down and actually did all of it. So the correct rendering is, you are going to sell yourselves, but no man shall buy you. That's the correct rendering from the Hebrew into the English. It's just, this is a translation error. But besides that, let's just say you don't know that part. Concentrate on what Moses was saying. Wherefore I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. So where did Moses say something like, you're not going to see it no more again? That's what we got to be concentrating on. That's the concentration point that we should be looking at. He said, which, by the way, wherefore I spake unto thee, spake, past tense, thou shalt see it no more again. So that's what we need to be looking at. When did Moses make a statement like that? Well, let's go to the Exodus. Exodus 14. Let's start at 11. And they said unto Moses, because there is no graves in Egypt. Was he talking about the transatlantic slave trade? No. Was he talking about the slave coast? No. What was he talking about? Literal Egypt. Hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? That's how you know he's talking about Egypt. Wherefore hast thou dealt with us to carry us forth out of Egypt, literal Egypt? Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? Is that somehow Africans or Americans? Now you can say, well, they're Africans by nationality. Well, is he talking about Africa? Is he talking about the slave coast? Well, he's talking about the continent Africa. Egypt is on Africa. But is he talking about how y'all are making it? Is he talking about the slave coast? Is he talking about what happened in the 17th and the 16th century? Is that what he's talking about? Or the 15th century, sorry. Is that what he's talking about? No. Well, let's keep reading. For it have been better for us to serve the Egyptians, that we should die in the wilderness. And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show to you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. You shall see them again no more forever. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Let me read it again. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. Deuteronomy 28:68. Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again, which shields by the way whereof I spake unto you. Thou shalt see it no more again. So they was in the they was in the wilderness. They said, Moses, you brought us here to die. He's like, hey, look at the Lord work today. Look at his salvation. You see these Egyptians? You will see them no more again. Now he's saying, Egypt, what I said, you shall see it no more again. So he told them they were not going to see the Egyptians no more. They were not going to see Egypt no more. Hopefully this is all making sense. I know you're like, well, he didn't literally say Egypt. He said Egyptians. Yes, this is how they talk. He's talking about the Egyptians. So if they was going to see the Egyptians no more, then of course they could not see where the Egyptians came from again. If that's the case, they would have seen the Egyptians again. Would they have not? If they would have went to Egypt, they would have seen the Egyptians again. This is how that works. So he told them previously, you will see the Egyptians no more again. Later on, you will see Egypt no more again. You remember how I told you that before? Yes. So he was literally talking about Egypt that had literal Egyptians. So they would tell you, no, well, it's really talking about bondage. And he was going to take you into bondage, and bondage is what happened in the transatlantic slave trade. So it's really talking about spiritually, it's America. America is spiritual Egypt. Well, I'm going to try to bust that head real fast, and then I'm going to come back and show you something to Deuteronomy. So let's see if America was spiritual Egypt. The book of Revelation actually explains it. So let's see if America was spiritual Egypt real fast, and then we're going to come back. I think that's Revelation 11. Revelation 11 and 8. And their bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. So this is spiritual Egypt right here, where also our Lord was crucified. So then they tell you, well, the Lord was crucified in America. because they messed up his image. And then they go to the book of Maccabees, and then they say, see, they printed their images in our law. Well, first of all, the book of Maccabees was around before Christ was even born. So that's the first problem. They printed their images. It's not talking about faces. It's talking about idolatry. The images that they was worshiping at the time. The Greeks was known to worship plenty fishes and all that other stuff. It was talking about idolatry, and they put the idolatry in the book of the laws. You know, it wasn't talking about Christ. Christ wasn't even around when the book of the Maccabees was created. He wasn't around the Maccabean era. He came when the Romans was in charge. So that's A, that's totally wrong. But B, you know where the Lord was crucified. Okay? Outside the skirts, the cities of Jerusalem, but the way they looked at it was actually in Jerusalem, and you can find that in the Bible. Did you not know when Christ appeared before the men? He said, "Did you not know what have happened in Jerusalem? You know that the Lord was crucified, or the Lord has been killed." You know, etc. I'm paraphrasing, but they considered the Lord being crucified in Jerusalem. So, spiritual Egypt is where the Lord was crucified. Now, you can let them teach you that somehow it's America. I don't know how you do it, but you let them teach you that. You read it for yourself. You read it plain and clear. Plain and clear, it says where the Lord was crucified, and you can go in the Bible and actually find it. But they tell you, it's talking about the Christian churches. And the Christian churches crucified, that's not what a crucifixion is, guys. You don't know what a crucifixion is? Look it up. Look up Roman crucifixion. Just look it up. That's what a crucifixion looks like. That's what crucified means, okay? It doesn't mean that somebody changed the color of Christ. That's not crucified. That's color changing, okay? It doesn't mean that they added paganism to Christianity. That's adding paganism. That's called idolatry. That's not what it's talking about. It's talking about literal crucifixion, being killed, being crucified. This is what the Lord does. Please quit trying to downplay it in order to teach America, I don't know what to call it, besides falseness. This American doctrine, that's it, American doctrine, okay? So you have it right here. Spiritual Egypt is where the Lord was crucified. So Moses was talking about literal Egypt. But if you don't want him to, if you want Moses to be talking about spiritual Egypt, he will be talking about something in the land of Canaan. And they had not even went to the land of Canaan yet. And he was telling them to go to the land of Canaan. So why would he want to tell them they won't go into the land of Canaan when he was telling them to go into the land of Canaan? It only makes sense that Moses was talking about the land of Egypt, where they literally came from, where he literally told them, you won't see those Egyptians again. You are not going to see Egypt again, okay? This is literal Egypt, not no ridiculousness of somehow you make it be America, because you don't like what the words say. You see, they can't teach you that this stuff is about America without changing words. And that's the point. You don't want to be in the Bible, the inspired words of the Most High, when it literally said in Deuteronomy 4, do not add to my words. Do not add to my words. And the first thing you do, you have them adding to the words in order to preach their, or to teach their doctrine. There's no way you can get America out of any of this unless you let man teach you. Unless you let somebody teach you that the words don't mean what they say. Now, there's idioms everywhere. There's hyperboles. There's metaphors throughout all this Hebraic literature. But the Bible actually explains it, if you go through it and research it, what exactly it's saying. This was all for the land of Canaan, okay? All of this was based around the land of Canaan. And you can actually see this being fulfilled by the Greeks and then by the Romans. The Romans took them up, and people be like, how could this be talking about that? You know how far it is from Rome, from Jerusalem to Egypt? Why come they just didn't walk? First of all, we're talking about a war, okay? All of this was during a war. So, you trying to tell me that a smart general, Rome had like the best military at the time, and you trying to tell me that they had all of these boats and ships and all of this stuff, and they would put their armies through hot desert to walk The southern kingdom single into Jerusalem. Let's see. I'm just going to Google that. How long a walk is it from Jerusalem to Egypt? I'm just going to Google it real fast. Let's see how long of a walk that is. How long of a walk from Jerusalem? Let's see if they have it. Right here. How long to walk from Jerusalem to Egypt? Okay, let's see here. Sorry, y'all. I'm just trying to find it. I can find the distance. I'm trying to see how long a walk is. Maybe I need to go to Google Maps. Let's see here. And if anybody knows, you can put it in the chats. Google Maps. Let's see here. Jerusalem to Egypt. Walking. Oh, it says walking is even available. God. Going 75 miles per hour, it would take you 23 hours. Just to Cairo. It ain't showing me, y'all. Sorry. It ain't even showing me. If y'all can figure it out, please let me know how long a walk that is. But dealing with a military structure, dealing with war, then you mean to tell me that you'll tell your commanders and chiefs, get on the horses and go through the desert, and you walk all of these Israelites single file line into Egypt. Yo, it's crazy for that to work. They could walk into Egypt. Why they have to get on boats? Y'all sound ridiculous. How many of y'all that walked in the desert? You see, this is what. Oh well, my brother, you can remix it all. I mean, you can remix this one, but we can remix it later. But look at. I mean, how long do you literally think that walk will be? I want y'all to go outside and just walk to your next town. I don't care how close it is. Go outside. Well, first of all, it's a war, so I want you to work up. Just do about an hour exercise. Do an hour exercise, then go outside and walk 2 cities over. Yeah, just walk 2 cities over. Walk 2 cities over, and then walk back home, and you tell me how easy that was. Okay? That's ridiculous. Man, it can't be. Look, man. And what would they walk? I mean, what would they use? Man, come on, man. You guys sound crazy. We're talking about warfare. You mean to tell, you know how many soldiers it would take in order to keep Israel to walk single file line hundreds of miles? You don't think that they would have had any incursions or any rebellions? Israel was wicked. They rebelled for anything. So you think that they want to rebel in the desert? Come on, man. But that's just what it is. But you see it right there. So that's talking about literal Egypt, not no spiritual Egypt, not no America, not the slave coast. So now, what I wanted to show y'all, this is what I'm going to end with. Within this curse right here, it says, where it says that you're going to build and another man is going to inherit. 39, I think. Hello, you got your plan dressed in, but need the shell age. No, it's not. Hold on, y'all. Let me find it real fast. The fruit of thy land, all the labor shall a nation in which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors. I think that's it. I'm looking for something in particular. I think it's 33, but let me make sure. The Lord pleadeth, and he is Chandler, Lord. It was they shall plant vineyards and dress them. All right, well let me. It's probably gonna be like these two. Yeah. Well, let me Deuteronomy 28. I'm gonna read verses 33 and 39. Deuteronomy 28, 33 and 39. 33 and 39. So these was in the curses. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed away. So they was going to do the work. The fruit of thy land and thy labors, they was going to do the work with these curses. The curses said they was going to do the work, but others was going to benefit from that work. So then you go to verse 39. Thou shalt plant vineyards and dress them, but shall neither drink of the wine nor gather the grapes, for the worm shall eat them. So they're saying that all of their work is going to be for nothing. It's going to be for naught. Either it was going to be eaten by the bugs, it was going to be riding, or the people from the other nations was going to come and take it from them. Okay, that was the curse. So once you get into Isaiah 66, that was the curse in the law of Moses. Okay, the Mosaic covenant, that was the curse. So once you get into Isaiah 66, no, it might not be 66, it might be 60. Isaiah 6, let me see, 65. Isaiah 65. Right here, Isaiah 65. And look, this is dealing with the new covenant, right? 17. I will create new heavens and a new earth. I will create Jerusalem and rejoicing. I will rejoice in Jerusalem and joy my people. So this is all new covenant thing. All right, so listen to what it says in verse 21. And they shall build houses and inhabit them. And they shall plant vineyards and eat of the fruit of them. They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. For as the days of the tree are as the days of my people, and my elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. See, this is how you know that ye are not cursed. Okay? In the new covenant, it was saying that you will be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. This is why some of you guys have houses. Some of you guys got 2, 3, 4 cars, got 2, 3 houses, got a nice chunk change in the bank, and etc. Now, you got to pay taxes on all of this stuff. The Bible lets it be known, render unto Caesar's what is Caesar's. So this is what the government has put up. This is what the government has set up. You always got to render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. So you have a lot of things that deal with paying taxes and stuff. Okay, that's it. That comes with it. The Bible teaches that. Okay, let's see. So 15-minute on, 20 off shirt because it was so hot. He said the reason was something else. Can I take right? So imagine walking through that in after a war. in single file line. Come on, man. Look what they talking about. But the new covenant, right? This is why you all have freedom. Okay? The situation is meant for you to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. This is what the new covenant brings. Okay? New covenant brings you not worrying about someone taking your things from you because you are cursed. This is just wicked people being wicked. But the vengeance belongs to the Most High. All vengeance belongs to the Lord. Okay? So you got Revelation 21 after the new covenant. Let's see here. Might be 22. I think it's 22. Revelation 22. Them entering back into the Garden of Eden. 22 and 3. And there shall be no more curse. But the throne of God and the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him. So, in the new covenant, no more curses of Moses. You are able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You too busy looking at all the bad things in the world and you overlook all of the good things. And that's the problem. People have taught you to be in depression. They have taught you to look for something more than finding the kingdom of heaven within inside of you. They have taught you to hatred. They have taught you to be a wretch. They have taught you that even though all of the blessings that you have received is there in front of you 100-fold, they have taught you to overlook all of that and something better is coming in the future. They have taught you out of the understanding of what the Most High wanted you to understand, which is you have freedom now through Christ in order to be a servant of the Most High. In order to worship your God and my God, you don't have to go through a Levitical priest anymore. You have freedom. And that God alone, that high power, your Father will grant you what he have for you. Just like they were speaking about Jacob and Esau. He chose Jacob. No child did anything wrong. He just chose Jacob because of election. And they asked, well, is the father unrighteous? Is he unjust because he chose one over the other? And it said, no. The father can have mercy on whomever he wants to have mercy on. That's what being a God and a king, well, a God is all about. He can have mercy on whomever he wants to have mercy on. So, you might not be getting the things that you want because A, you might need to increase your prayer life. Lord knows I need help with mine. So, A, you got to increase your prayer life. B, you got to have more faith in the Most High. C, you got to understand that sometimes the Father says no. Okay, sometimes he just say no. All right, Father. He just say no sometimes. Sometimes he just said, that's not for you and you're not going to get it no matter how much you ask for it, no matter how much you kick for it, and no matter how much you beg for it. Just because somebody else got it don't mean you're going to get it. That's just how the Father does. He has mercy on whom he wants to have mercy on. He does what he wants. So, and it also tells you in the Bible, I can go to what I'm on D or E, that through fiery trials, the Most High chastise everybody that he loved. And through fiery trials, you will put on your white robes. And those who are meek, those who are low in spirit, those who have a uniqueness about themselves, they will be called the sons and daughters of God. So sometimes the Father wants you in a condition that keeps you meek. Sometimes it's more for your benefit. Because you got to understand, you're here on earth doing the Father's will for about, 70 years if you make it there. Some don't make it that long, but you're only here momentarily. You with him forever once you leave this realm, when you strip off the flesh. So the Father always looking at the big plan. We're always looking at the plan to get us to the next day or the next year or the next 10 years or the next 15 years. The Father is looking at the whole eternal plan. hey, okay, yeah, hey, they might suffer for 10 years on earth, but they're going to have an eternity of living it up here with me. They might go through bad stuff for 15, 20 years. They might go through hell and all that stuff, but they're going to spend eternity with me having the best life that they can ever have, which is pretty much worth it to me. So sometimes the Father just say no. Sometimes he wants you to learn. It doesn't mean that you're cursed. It means the Father is doing his will. Once again, he will have mercy on whom he will have mercy on. There's nothing you can do that's going to make the Father change his mind. There's nothing you're going to do. Okay? All of the things that need to be done has already happened. He gave you the new covenant. Just enjoy it. But I am done, y'all. I think that is it. Once again, so no, we're not cursed, people. We can be descendants of Shem. We could even be Israelites, but we're not cursed. We should be enjoying the new covenant. This is my YouTube channel, AOSD-We. Thank everybody for listening. I'm finna sign off now. There's plenty of material on here, and I plan on doing something tomorrow also. All right, love you all. Tony, Boss, Yona, Queen, Martin, Daisy, Marielle, all the people that was on, if I didn't call your name, Robinson, Monster, I know I said your name already. Yohananiah, yeah, I think it's Yohananiah, Twid, we done went into today's song anyway about scripture. Miranda, how you doing? Jody, thank you all for listening in. And if I skipped you, sorry, but I'm going to be out and about. Shalom to everybody. See y'all next.